The murder count now stands at 60. A laceration to the neck leaves a man in his mid-30s dead. Police have one man in custody. Plus, brief doubling down on their calls for marine protection. This as an oil spill is impacting their coral reef nursery. And later, our Danielle Miller takes us on a field trip to the Atlantis Resort. It's a culinary journey you won't want to miss. These stories and so much more as Our News Weekend starts now. This is Our News Weekend. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm Megan Shepard. A man has died overnight after sustaining a large laceration to the neck, pushing the country's murder count to 60 for the year. Police briefing members of the press at the junction of Zion Boulevard and Blue Hill Road South, telling media the victim is believed to be in his mid-30s. Press liaison officer Chief Superintendent Christine Skipping says the man was discovered by a woman upon arrival to a residence on Blue Hill Road.
It was sometime around 10 o'clock when we were notified that a male was on the outside of a residence with a laceration to the neck. Information received is that a female, on arrival to a residence on Blue Hill Road South, she observed the victim staggering north along Blue Hill Road. And then the victim collapsed in front of her vehicle. She exited her vehicle. Upon realizing that the male was injured, she immediately contacted EMS services.
Skipping's telling media police believe they may have found the residence the crime occurred at and that they have a 24-year-old man in custody they're speaking to about the matter.
The officers of the Royal Bahamas Police Force and every investigation, very, very thorough, extremely meticulous. And once they came on the scene, they observed that there were some blood stains. And so as good investigators, they followed that trail. It led us to a particular residence where we believe the incident may have occurred.
Well, meantime, a routine snorkel at the Bahamas Reef Environment Educational Foundation Coral Reef Sculpture Garden and Coral Nursery near Clifton Heritage Park, leaving divers covered in oil. The discovery was made this morning as the group hosted members of the press and public. Unfortunately, those divers left with ruined clothing and gear. Executive Director of Brief, Kasarina McKinney-Lambert.
We're very concerned whenever an oil spill happens. We weren't expecting it today. We thought that it had been cleaned up, and so we were very surprised to see this here. But any oil spill, whether it happens every day or whether it happens once a year, is unacceptable.
McKinney-Lambert has been vocal on several occasions, calling for more to be done to protect the marine environment. She is once again calling to the human element to do more to protect the ocean.
Certainly, having divers in the water, snorkelers in the water coming out covered in oil is never okay. But fortunately, people are able to get out of the water. The marine life is not. So there are corals, there are fish, there are all sorts of animals that we care about. Some of them are things that we like to eat that are stuck in the marine environment and not able to escape oil pollution.
The new U.S. Embassy building brought in with a bang. This as they celebrated their ribbon cutting, their annual 4th of July reception, and the welcome of the new U.S. Charge d'Affaires, Kimberly Furnish. Construction of the new U.S. Embassy building on Shirley Street began in 2019. The sprawling site spans 5 acres and had a budget of over $300 million. Prime Minister Philip Davis speaking at the ceremony, calling the new embassy a symbol of strength of our two countries' enduring friendship.
As we join you in celebrating 248 years of a successful and thriving democracy, I also extend a warm welcome to the new Charge d'Affaires, Kimberly Furnish, and thank the U.S. Embassy for hosting this event, affording us this moment to celebrate with one another. This evening is particularly special as we gather to cut the ribbon for this beautiful new embassy in downtown Nassau.
Attendees also hearing from the new Charge d'Affaires, Kimberly Furnish, for the first time. Furnish, who comes in as successor to Usha Pitts, taking the opportunity to share her priorities as she steps into her new role.
Security cooperation remains the foundation of our relationship. American law enforcement and U.S. military personnel work together with our counterparts across the Bahamian government to curb irregular migration and the illegal flow of drugs. With that, an ever closer economic relationship remains essential to both our nations.
This week, the Revenue Task Force made a significant impact on Carmichael Road, conducting a series of targeted visitors to ensure businesses are fully compliant. Their extensive inspections covered more than 1,000 establishments. Bertram Bolag, the task force leader, delivered a detailed breakdown of their findings.
We are finding businesses, which are permanent businesses, large businesses, who are doing NIB deduction from their staff, and they're not paying it to NIB. I'm not talking small, I'm talking like $70,000 outstanding contribution major business are having, and they're not paying, they're taking it out of the staff salary, which they're paying them minimum wage, and then they're not paying it to the Department of NIB.
The task force is responsible for making sure businesses are up to date with statutory taxes and fees. It also checks for proper immigration documentation. And that's where Boleg says they uncovered some issues.
They have work permit, and the work permit says that they're supposed to be gardeners or they're supposed to be farm laborers. But they're working in a clothing store, they're working in a restaurant, as whatever they're supposed to be. They call it working out of scope. We have to remove those persons because their work permit does not state that that's what they're supposed to be doing. And then we are finding persons that are working for their work permit has who their employer is. And then what happens is they're working for someone else that they're not even supposed to be working for. And then another thing we're finding is persons are not paying the NIB contribution with the work permit. Or we finding persons who have work permit and have never paid NIB contribution.
And the shooting of a man in a court parking lot this week, raising concerns among the public and Bar Council. Well, tonight, the National Security Minister insisting that his ministry is continuing to implement safety measures at both the Magistrate and Supreme Courts. Joshua Williams reports.
National Security Minister Wayne Munro says his ministry has been working to ensure security around the courts. This follows the brazen shooting of a released convict as he was leaving the magistrate's court. This prompting a request by the Bar Council to beef up security for judges, prosecutors and attorneys. Munro says measures have already begun at the Supreme Court with the implementation of cameras.
Although it was not strictly a matter to be addressed by the budget of the Royal Bahamas Police Force, which is in the Ministry of National Security, we did direct the courts to be covered by CCTV, because if something happens in the court, none of you are going to be concerned about that being an independent arm of government. You all are going to say the police.
As for the Magistrates Court, Munro says that's also being addressed.
I initiated the Security and Intelligence Branch to do a security assessment of the Magistrates Court complex, which they did, taking into account the positioning of the CCTV cameras, the control of access to the parking of judges, and the security deployment of the detail there at the court.
And despite all of this, a man was still shot. The council now calling for increased police presence and lighting in these parking lots. Munro insists, however, that those in the legal system are safe.
I understand that this shooting at the Magistrates Court complex may have taken place on the upper eastern parking lot area, which isn't utilized by judges at all. I won't say where judges do park for obvious reasons.
Munro adding that there are tools like the anti-gang legislation that seek to prevent these type of incidents from happening.
It is unfortunate that we have groups of young men who seem to make it their mission to try to kill one another, and are trying to kill one another in public places. And the reality of it is, regardless of how wide you extend the cordon.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Joshua Williams.
Thanks so much, Josh. When Our News Weekend comes back from the break, are the GBPA and government closer to a resolution? The nation's chief has an update on negotiations. Plus, accessing public services just got a bit easier in Grand Bahama. We have the details on a recent handover when Our News Weekend returns.
Are you or a loved one under medical care? Do you need affordable medical supplies? Ports International is the largest home healthcare supplier. Medical supplies at the very best price, and you can even shop online. From hospital beds to wound care, wheelchairs to walkers, Ports is a one-stop shop for your medical supplies, and we accept insurance. We have online shopping and 2 locations to serve you, at the Airport Industrial Park and Shirley Street. We also ship to the Family Islands. Shop online and visit us on Facebook. Call Ports at 377-1771.
The Davis administration and the Grand Bahama Port Authority are locked in, trying to resolve their dispute. This, according to Prime Minister Philip Davis. Davis telling reporters this week the arrangement between government and the GBPA holds a mechanism to resolve disputes between both sides. That mechanism, he says, has been engaged. Back in April, the government gave the GBPA 30 days to pay $300 million or face arbitration. The GBPA has said it doesn't owe the government a dollar. The official opposition has criticized the government for making a public spat with the GBPA and advised them to sit with them to resolve their differences. When asked about the matter this week, David said the stage of the matter is classified.
A lot of what's happening now is confidential until they reach a stage when it could become confidential. As much I can say right now is that if you read the arrangements between the government and the Port Authority, there's a mechanism that's set out there to resolve our disputes. That mechanism has been engaged and is going on, and I can say no more than that at this time.
Milo Butler Investments, owners of the Wynn building, has handed over the keys to the government for the fully transformed former Winn-Dixie property, spanning the 12,000 square feet. The new space comes fully equipped with furniture and a state-of-the-art training facility. Minister of Labor and Public Service Pia Glover-Roll received the keys at a ceremony held on Grand Bahama. She says this marks a huge milestone for public service throughout the nation.
As we work together for a better public service for the Bahamas, and as we open these doors at the Ministry of Public Service and Labor here in Grand Bahama to all of our public service partners across Grand Bahama, so that you too can experience this new environment and the model by which we hope to set for public service throughout our nation.
Minister for Grand Bahama Ginger Moxie says that this new facility will provide more convenience of government services.
The relocation to this new space marks a significant step in our ongoing efforts to reimagine, reshape, and make downtown Freeport come alive. Moving into this modern, state-of-the-art facility in the heart of the town center not only brings essential services closer to the people, but also injects a vibrant energy into downtown Freeport through the increased foot traffic to and from these offices.
The Bahamas officially launching its 51st anniversary of independence celebrations Friday morning with flag-raising ceremonies on various islands across the country. Over in Grand Bahama, Bahamians were dressed in their vibrant national colors as the Bahamian flag was hoisted outside the Harold de Gregory Government Complex. The theme for this year's celebration is One People, United in Love and Service. Minister for Grand Bahama Ginger Moxie bringing brief remarks at the ceremony.
We celebrate with Bahamians throughout the nation as a symbolic act of pride and unity in reverence to our beloved country and Bahamian flag.
Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry for Grand Bahama, Kingsley Smith, sharing the importance of the day.
It is a time to honor our rich history, celebrate our resilience, and look forward to a future filled with promise and potential. On the horizon for Grand Bahama are numerous initiatives aimed at revitalizing our economy and enhancing the quality of life for all residents.
Still to come on Our News Weekend, we'll tell you all about a new fast casual restaurant offering a fresh dining experience at Atlantis. But first,
the track and field nationals wrap up and juniors play baseball down in Grand Bahama. All that's coming up on our Sports Weekend.
no travel, no problem. Summer is here, whether you're fighting to stay cool or heating up the fun. Our News Weekend is your guide to the ultimate staycation. We're talking all of the hidden gems right in our backyard, from the hottest bars and lounges to the coolest excursions and events in town. So stay cool, stay local, and stay tuned. Tune in every Saturday to make sure your summer staycation is an unforgettable sensation. Only on Our News Weekend. This is Our News Weekend. Welcome back. Track and field nationals come to an end, and we talk Little League Baseball in the nation's second city. Sasha Lightborn is here for Our Sports Weekend. Sasha.
Thanks, Megan. Good evening. Welcome to our Sports Weekend. I'm Sasha Lightborn in for Tage Adderley. The B3A's track and field nationals wrapped up last night at the old Thomas A. Robinson Stadium, and we catch you up on all the highlights.
On the final day, there were some standout performances, particularly from the field. Rima Ottabor in the women's open javelin had a throw of 58.15 meters.
Always a wonderful experience anytime I'm able to compete in front of a home crowd. It just gives me a sense of comfort, and it was a lot of fun.
Now, many expected to see Shawnee Miller-Weibo in the finals of the women's open 200 meters, but that did not happen. That race was won by Javonia Valcourt. B3A's president, Tromiko Archer, explains.
Fortunately, she's been dinged up with some injuries. She was in fine form coming into the World Relays, and I think that she suffered injury, the reports would say. And unfortunately, she just couldn't make it back in time.
But undoubtedly, the highlight of the entire three-day meet had to be the women's 100-meter hurdles from Thursday night, where for the very first time, 3 Bahamians qualified for the Paris Olympics.
Yeah, for sure. For so long, I felt like it's just been me or Petri, or just Charisma. One of hers just been like 2 of us, and so historically we have 3 now, all in a really good position to come away with some medals, and it's just exciting to see the development of the event.
Definitely wasn't a very good technical race for me, but always got to go back to the drawing board. There's always something to fix, so can't wait to go back to training.
It feels great. All the hard work I've been putting in just paid off. This was something I talked to my coach with, trying to make it for my own event, and I just trust God, and I just thank him for bringing me this far.
Now, Archer says the deadline for the track and field athletes to be named is July 4th. The Bahamas' Olympic Committee will make the announcement shortly thereafter. Now, we turn our attention to the Diamond, where the Bahamas Baseball Federation held their nationals in Grand Bahama last weekend.
Just like the swimming nationals in New Providence last weekend, baseball nationals in Grand Bahama was cut short due to rain, but they managed to get some play in on Saturday at Emera Park. Freedom Farm won all divisions, including 8 and under, 10 and under, 12 and under, and 14 and under. JBLN took the silver in all those divisions except 10 and under division, where they settled for bronze behind the Grand Bahama Little League. We spoke to the Secretary General from the Bahamas Baseball Association, Theodore Sweeting.
This year we came back to Grand Bahama. This is our first time since the pandemic. And so we're back here in Grand Bahama to celebrate the juniors, because, you know, it's a big economic boost for the economy from our standpoint. When you're talking about hotels, rental cars, all of your fast food restaurants here, everybody's impacted. So we've been having an awesome weekend.
That'll do it for sports today. I'm Sasha Lightborn in for Tage Adderley. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday evening.
Thanks so much, Sasha. On the other side of the break, we take you on a culinary-inspired field trip. Stick with us. No travel, no problem. Summer is here, whether you're fighting to stay cool or heating up the fun. Our News Weekend is your guide to the ultimate staycation. We're talking all of the hidden gems right in our backyard, from the hottest bars and lounges to the coolest excursions and events in town. So stay cool, stay local, and stay tuned. Tune in every Saturday to make sure your summer staycation is an unforgettable sensation. Only on Our News Weekend. Welcome back. It's time now for your check on temperatures and the tropics. Meteorologist Ian McKenzie joins us now from the Weather Center. Ian.
Thanks, Megan, and good evening, Bahamas. Welcome to your Saturday evening forecast. We're currently outside our studios under cloudy skies, a temperature of 85, winds from the east-northeast at 10 miles per hour. Comfortable feels like temperature at 76. Temperatures across the country, rain cool in Freeport at 84, Marsh Harbor as well, Governor's Harbor, and in Allenstown, Bimini, 85 in Nicholstown as well as in the capital, 86 in Great Harbor Key. In the central Bahamas, 84 in Camp Bay as well as Georgetown, Deadman's Key, and in Arthurstown, Kidd Island. 86 is the hotspot in Coburn Towns in Salvador. The southeast Bahamas continuing with those 84s in Duncantown, Delectable Bay, Colonel Hill. 85 in Matthewtown, 83 in Abrahams Bay, and 85 in Providenciales, Turks and Caicos. First look now at our satellite and radar imagery. High pressure dominating weather conditions across most of the Bahamas. Weak troughing across the northwest Bahamas, triggering pockets of few isolated showers and thunderstorms. In the tropics, the main area of concern right now is Beryl. Beryl should begin to impact portions of the Windward Islands late Sunday into Monday as a hurricane. But right now it's a tropical storm and it is expected to be the first major hurricane of the 2024 season. Here's a track to show you where Beryl is expected to go. No threat to the Bahamas, but pray for our brothers and sisters elsewhere in the Caribbean. Boating forecast for all areas, winds easterly 10 to 15 knots, seas 2 to 4, but up to 5 feet in the southeast Bahamas. Low tide at 9:19 p.m. tonight, high tide at 3:12 a.m. tomorrow. In your extended forecast, some showers hanging around. This should be on and off throughout most of the week. Highs hovering in the low 90s. With your lows in the upper 70s, low 80s. That's a wrap in the evening forecast. Make it a great, safe, fun night, everyone.
Thanks so much, Ian. Well, earlier this week, Atlantis unveiled a new addition to its resort, a fast, casual restaurant offering a fresh dining experience. This unique spot features recipes crafted by a celebrity chef who has become a familiar name in recent months. Our Danielle Miller takes us on this new culinary journey.
We are back with Chef JJ, and this time we're attending the opening of his new restaurant. Let's take a trip.
Remember Chef JJ Johnson? For almost a year, he's been a vibrant presence in the local culinary scene, hosting numerous events with Atlantis Bahamas. Now, the award-winning chef has taken an exciting leap, officially opening his first international location at the resort, the highly acclaimed Field Trip from New York.
I feel amazing opening a Field Trip and being present now all the time in the Bahamas, but especially with the Atlantis. I mean, the Atlantis is a landmark, right? A world landmark that people come to and to be able to experience my food. But also, you know, Field Trip is also here for the people of the Bahamas, right? So hopefully, you know, we believe in rice's culture and that rice connects people. And hopefully our menu will connect people here in the Bahamas and everybody coming to the island and spending time at the Atlantis.
Focused on the simple art of rice, the resort's Vice President of Food and Beverage Operations, Charles Colbrook, tells us they are thrilled about this new venture, with local employees even taking a trip to New York to meet the international team.
And it's really a rice bowl concept, which is something new for us here at Atlantis, and it's a pretty healthy, rich, and really good concept, which offers a variety of different dishes. You can get your chicken, you can get salmon, you can get shrimp, you can also get your braised beef, and then there are also a complement of really good desserts that he also developed. But we'll be open every day from 10 a.m. From 11 a.m. until 10 p.m. And we are open to everyone who's utilizing Aquaventure hotel guests.
For those not staying at the hotel or enjoying the park activities, here's an insider tip. You can swing by Field Trip once Aquaventure calls it a day. Reporting for Our News, I'm Danielle Miller.
Sounds delicious. Thanks so much, Danielle, and thank you for joining us for Our News Weekend. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Megan Shepard. Have a safe and wonderful evening.